It has been mock-up mayhem on Etsy. If you haven't heard, there have been a lot of Etsy sellers that have been very confused about what's going on as people are posting in Facebook groups and hearing news of either shops getting shut down or listings getting deactivated, possibly because they're breaking a handmade rule, or then people were thinking that maybe it was because of using mock-ups that weren't from the print-on-demand partners. So in today's video, I actually taped it about 36 hours ago, and as I was editing it last night, trying to get it out, I came across some more information as I've been listening to content. I've got some resources for you, some other videos that really helped me. I'm gonna let the footage play that I already filmed as it's still relevant, as I focus on how I interpret what's happening and how I am running and conducting my business. I've had a lot of people reaching out asking me if I'm still using mock-up photos. I will go into that and what I am doing. At the end of the video, I'll come back on real quick to know the latest bit of information that I have found helpful, and each of the content creators that created a video that I found super helpful, I will link down in the description below if you're looking for some more information and some other viewpoints on what's happening. Are you losing sleep right now because of everything you've heard about Etsy and possibly they're taking listings down, or even in worst case scenarios, shutting shops down, and it looking a little unclear about exactly what's going on, but the word is that maybe we're not allowed to use mock-up photos unless they are from the print-on-demand partners, like Printful and Printify's mock-up photos? If you're looking for some more information about that, that's what we're going to briefly talk about today. I just thought I would give you my take on this. All anyone can do right now is give you their take on this and let you know what their personal action steps are moving forward. Etsy hasn't come out to give a statement. We could keep our fingers crossed that they will give us more information. Clearly something is going on. I'm going to leave a link down in the comments to some other videos that I found very helpful and that really calmed my spirits down about this. Other content creators with successful Etsy shops that are connected with lots of students. Maybe they have courses or mentorship groups that they're running, and so they've had a lot of connection with different people and various situations that I think really bring a lot of light to the situation. So I kind of was thinking that the whole situation feels kind of like this. If this was our Etsy shop, and we've worked so hard to build our Etsy shops, placing each of our pieces so carefully and building such a beautiful thing, and it just feels right now like this could happen. Obviously, that's what we're worried about, that all of our work could be in vain. And whenever we have something to lose, our minds can run away with us, especially when rumors are flying and we don't have any real answers. I've relied heavily on Heather Studio and See You Online. I thought Mandy had a really great video. I will link all three of those down below. A lot of these content creators have courses or mentorship groups, and they have information that the rest of us don't have because they are connected. They have a group of people, a large group of people. So for example, See You Online shares that in her group of 800 students, she has one student that had one deactivated listing. So that might make you feel a little bit better, because right now it just seems like in the Facebook groups and on YouTube that this information is just flying and no one really knows what's going on, and everyone has these theories, and that's all they are, is theories. We don't really have all of the information about why this is happening and what's triggering exactly all of these alleged takedowns and of shops and or listings. Heather Studio really did a good job of sharing a lot of screenshots of information that she had. She brings to light that it is not just mock-ups that have been the issue. She reminds us that a while back there was an issue, and I remember hearing about it, with mock-ups that had things like Adidas merchandise in the background or a Starbucks cup. That could be an issue. And Mandy's video, she is not only in the print-on-demand space, but she's also in the handmade space. And there is an issue in both spaces. She's hearing about listings being deactivated in both of those spaces right now. In this video, I'm really going to focus on what I'm doing as a precaution rather than what is exactly happening, because I don't know exactly what's happening. And these content creators I just mentioned have more facts than I do because of the connection they have with so many people that are connected with them as being students. I will, again, leave those 3 videos linked down below. I thought they were massively helpful and very open, very honest, and really shed some light on how this might not maybe be as widespread as we feel like it is because of the attention it's getting as people are posting things. As I started to hear about people posting about the mock-up photos and questioning that, I did go look up in the Etsy seller handbook items made with production partners. If an item is created with production assistance, the listing's photos should be of the finished product or an image supplied by the production partner that accurately depicts the item that buyer will be receiving. Sellers are responsible for ensuring that these images properly represent their finished items. Now, what I'm about to share is just what's going through in my mind. I don't have any real answers for you, but I'm just sharing with you what my thoughts are and how I'm going to handle this in my business. Reading that did make me nervous because it sounds like we're not supposed to be using mock-up photos. It doesn't make sense to me, though, that Etsy is going to start enforcing that we all use the same couple of photos from Printful and Printify that are not optimized and would not result in as many sales. Not to mention, how would we do group photos or couples photos since they don't have mock-up photos that would be representing more than one design generated from their sites. And Etsy is a business. They want to make money, but they also want to make sure that their customers are happy and they return to the platform so their platform can continue growing. So it just makes more sense in my mind to focus on that last sentence there instead of focusing on that piece about the production partners. I feel like the bigger concept here is that next line that states it's our responsibility to make sure that our mock-up photos are a true representation of the product the customers are getting. And so there are some really bad practices out there with mock-up photos. One of which is people using mock-up photos that aren't the actual products that are being sent. You might have noticed, and I know I've had a lot of comments down in my comments about this particular issue. There's a beautiful Comfort Colors pepper mock-up that many shops have used and then sent Bella canvas shirts. This would be something I would assume Etsy would want to put an end to because people are going to be upset when they are not receiving the right product. If you're selling a Gildan shirt and using something that shows a Bella canvas tag in the shirt, that wouldn't be a good idea, and vice versa. If you're using if you're sending out a Bella canvas and there is a Gildan tag in that shirt, in that mock-up photo. Other thing you can do, and I'll show you real quick how to do it. I've been meaning to do this for a while and finally figured out how to do it because of this, just as a backup. You can download all of the data that you have about your listings, the tags, the titles, so that you have it in a report and you can save it on your computer in case you're, God forbid, your shop were to get shut down. At least you would have that information about your tags and your titles, and it would not all be lost. And just as a reminder, while we're here on the computer, if you are doing POD, print on demand, you want to make sure you set up your listing correctly so that you limit your chances of getting flagged for not being handmade. We are allowed to do POD with Etsy. I set mine when it says who made it. I say another company or person. What is it? I have a finished product. When was it made? I have made to order. And then make sure you reveal your production partner. Now, to download your shop's data, you'll want to go into your dashboard, go settings, then go to options. Then across the top, you'll see these tabs. You'll want to go to download data. And then once you're there, this is the one that I used, the CSV file, including the listing title, description, price. I went ahead and downloaded the 3 pages for my shop. Another thing I'm not going to be doing, and I know that this has been going around, is getting mad with a mock-up shop. These mock-up shops have done a beautiful job servicing all of us Etsy sellers. Plus, they're not only making items to help Etsy sellers, they're making items that you can use on your Shopify store or other platforms. Hopefully there's more information on this soon so that they're not worried about their businesses. There's no reason for us to be upset with a mock-up seller that just simply made beautiful photos for us to use in our Etsy shops. This has obviously got to be an incredibly scary time for them as well. I am a half glass full kind of girl, so I might be a little less worried about this than the average person. Just know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people that would be affected by this. And this won't be the last time during your entrepreneurial journey that we are going to have to face something like this and possibly either push forward with hope and belief that we're doing the right thing and making sure that we are using the best practices and that our photos are a true representation of the products that people are getting, or the last time that we're going to be faced with an option that maybe we might have to pivot and maybe we're going to have to do something else if we get more information that leads us to believe that. What is going to happen, and I've heard other people say, and it was something that was already going through my mind, is people are going to get scared. They're going to stop pushing forward for Christmas, for the holiday, the Q4 season. The people that are pushing forward are going to make more sales. The people that are going to continue with the same amount of effort and the same amount of gusto that they had before are going to outshine those that get timid and scared and really stop pushing forward with their business. If there are changes that we're going to be needing to make, hopefully there won't be, but if that is what we figure out and we have to do a different style of mock-ups, or we have to figure something out in lieu of having a mock-up, that will most certainly have a lot of sellers leaving the platform. And the people that are willing to pivot will be the people that are able to get a really good stronghold in business after that. The last tip I'll leave you with of something that I'm being very mindful of is when I do get a message from a customer that's unhappy, and I don't get a ton of them relatively speaking to the amount of sales that are coming through, but of course when all this information was coming through and I'm trying to sift out how worried I need to be and if I need to pivot and if I need to do something else in my shop, again, I'm going to do business as usual and I'm continuing on with what I've been doing, but I have been very quick to answer and message people back and to give them a refund. If they said, I don't like the way this looks, it doesn't look like it did in the photo, or I'm unhappy, I've been very quick to give people a refund because I don't want anyone opening a report at this time against me or causing an issue. I want my customers to be happy. In the end, guys, all we could do is treat each other well and do our best. I am not going to lose sleep over this. I'm not going to pretend I'm not a little worried about it. Sure, let's see what happens. But I am going to continue with my business. I am going to control the things I can control. And then I'm going to let that worry, it's here. I recognize there's a little worry here, but I've got a lot of other thoughts in my mind. I can't make that worry disappear. I don't have that kind of control over my thoughts. I can recognize that it's here. It's one possible thing. One possible scenario is, oh my gosh, they shut my shop down. That is unlikely though. With what we see so far, that's unlikely. So there's a lot of other scenarios here that could happen. And I'm just going to, okay, this little worry is here. I recognize that it's here, but I'm not going to let it consume my mind or my thoughts or redirect what I'm doing in my business right now. Doing something rash like replacing all my photos, especially when we've heard news about some of the listings that have been taken down were listings that had the Printful or Printify mock-up photos in them. Guys, I hope it helps to know what other people are doing, and so that maybe that can give you a little bit of peace and to know that you're not going through this and wandering through this alone. Three more things I wanted to mention. One will be that update of some additional information I came across that I thought was very helpful. But before I get to that, two other things that I thought I filmed when I filmed this. I can't find the footage. Two more things I did in my shop that I'm really glad that I did. A few months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I added an email list to my shop. You need to ask people's permission in order to collect their email and send them marketing material, so you don't want to just go through and collect people's emails without their permission. I used MailChimp. It did take me like 3 different videos of piecing those things together, and it took me a little while to get all that set up. When I send my thank you message, I ask them to sign up to MailChimp. Now, you could do a little digging. I don't have a tutorial video on how to do email, but that's a really great practice. It was something that was on my mind, and it's something I'm thankful that I did. Just for the next time there's a scare on Etsy, you'll have peace of mind knowing that you've collected emails yourself and that you can send an email out to direct them to your business if you have to open business somewhere else. The next thing I did 2 or 3 days ago, I sat down and I opened a Shopify store. I didn't have a Shopify store. I don't really plan on using it right now, but there's this really easy way to, I think I used an app called Shuttle within Shopify. I don't have a tutorial on that, but you can Google that, and it was super fast. I mean, I'm talking like I have thousands of listings, and I was able to pretty much get this done within like an hour. It was faster and easier than figuring out my email thing. It did cost me a little bit. I think it was $30 that I spent on Shopify. I think you get $1 for the first month, and then I think it's $30 thereafter. I was kind of just quickly going through it, trying to get it done, and then to use the shuttle service, I think there was a charge with that. But I was able to migrate all of my listings over to Shopify. So I haven't played with that. I don't really know what that looks like at this point, but I know that from my understanding, all of the photos, the titles, the tags, and all of that should have migrated over. And I didn't have any issues with that. It showed that it successfully migrated over. So that would have been a beast for me to open a Shopify store and upload that all myself. So the fact that I was able to migrate that over as a backup, that's peace of mind for me. I feel great about that. I'm really happy to have that. And it's a really good backup for anything. As a business owner, I should have already been on top of that. That's just seems like a good business practice to have once you have a shop that is profitable and that you're relying on for income. The third thing here that I wanted to say is I came across a video yesterday afternoon. You may have seen it already. It's great, and if not, I will also leave it linked down in the description below. Brand creators came out with a video where they actually emailed Etsy, and he shares that he saw the read receipt on the email. They opened it, I think he said 17 times before they actually responded to the email. So that makes me think that, I think they shared in the email that they're content creators, they have this audience, and this is what's going on in the Etsy community. And they were looking for some guidance on this. And so I imagine the person that read the email was trying to make sure that they addressed it well. So I'm really glad they got an email back. Plus, I know that they were persistent, and as if you're a successful Etsy shop owner, you know that persistence really does pay off. I've never been so aware of that, and I think he emailed them 16 or 17 times to get that response. So Etsy responded back, and you'll probably want to check out the video for yourself, but the gist was that they said, you can use mock-up photos from third parties, but you need to make sure that the photos are very much reflecting what you're selling. So I just summed it up in a really big nutshell there. You'll probably want to go watch the video so you have the information firsthand for yourself that they collected. But I did want to get this information out to you and these different resources, these different videos that I use to keep myself updated. And I wanted to encourage you to keep going strong for Q4, to control what you can, to let you know what I'm doing and what I am not doing. I am not changing all my mock-up photos. I'm not doing that. I'm not mad with any mock-up stores. I am backing up my store. It's been something I've been meaning to do for a while. If I didn't already have an email list going, I would have sat and figured that out. And I am going to push hard into Q4. I lost a couple days, getting some new skills figured out here with opening a Shopify store and looking into these kinds of things. But I've done what I can do now, and now I'm going to push forward. And if you want some help with some Q4 designing, then I'll link up a video for you at the end of this one. But of course, not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.